Hello, dear teacher. Thank you for accepting my interview. I would like to ask you some questions about things to consider before people get married, and it will take 45 minutes to answer all the questions. Shall we start?
Yeah, let's start.
Okay, what kind of questions do couples ask to each other before they get married?
Questions like, do we want to have children?
Exactly.
Or do we help each other out with money if necessary?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I think these are the questions like that the couple can ask. What kind of questions do couple ask each other after they get married?
I think, how do we plan the next 5 to 10 years?
Mm-hmm.
Or how do we prepare for getting older?
I think that's a really good question. Another question is, do you think that signing a prenuptial agreement would coordinate a lifelong marriage? Yes or not, and why?
I think no. No, because although there is no longer a reason to divorce in order to receive money or something like that from the partner, there can still be other possible problems for both partners.
Okay, we got to the next one. If you had to write one rule to a prenuptial contract, which one would you be most important one to be included for you?
The rule of the separation of property.
Mm-hmm.
So that after possible divorce, each of them continues to administer his own property. Without giving a part of that to his former partner.
That's so fair. What are the most important aspects to contribute to have a lifelong marriage?
Loyalty, trust, respect, and support of the partner.
That's a good one. What is the best thing to do when the couple is facing a problem?
To talk about it, I think.
Of course, that's about it.
The most important thing in a marriage is to be able to talk to each other about problems as well, as well as other things.
Communication is very important.
That's true.
The following question is, what is the most important reason to marry your partner?
I think if you can't imagine to live without this person. So, if you have the money to do so, yeah.
Hello, dear teacher. Thank you for accepting my interview. I would like to ask you some questions about things you consider before you get married.
Okay.
So, shall we start?
We can start, it's fine.
Okay. What kind of questions do couple ask to each other before they get married?
Basically, I think you have to ask if you trust each other and if you can imagine to spend the rest of your life together. This is the two basic questions that I think are the most important.
Okay. What kind of questions do couple ask each other after they get married?
The first one here is, do you still love me? It's the first one that comes to my mind.
Okay.
And the other...
the love will last with two people forever.
It should last forever, but the other questions are more daily questions. Have you switched the oven off? Such
Those are two questions you can ask every day.
Yeah.
Do you think that signing a prenuptial agreement could coordinate a lifelong marriage? Yes, no, or why? And why?
Well, actually, I don't think that an agreement like this could help last the marriage long, because it's basically a sheet of paper which doesn't directly affect your love for each other or the trust in each other. It simply only makes the divorce easier.
I think so too. If you have to write one rule of your prenuptial contract, which one would you be the most important included for you?
The most important is who keeps the door.
That's a good one. What are the most important aspects that contribute to have a lifelong marriage?
Well, basically it's, again, trust in each other and the confidence to face problems together.
What is the best thing to do when the couple is facing a problem?
Talking and working together on the problem. if it's only one person that has to grow up and one fella.
What is the most important reason to marry your partner?
If you love each other and can imagine a life together, why shouldn't you
You marry
marry
that
and
person.
spend more time together, live together, do everything together except working.
And the last question, what is the least important reason to marry your partner?
The least important reason to marry your partner, it's quite difficult. It's just if you have seen each other and maybe you're drunken in Las Vegas, that's another reason to marry.
I think so too. Well, thank you very much for your
You're
help.
welcome.
Hello, dear teacher. Well, I would like to interview you about things to consider before to get married. So I would like to ask you a few questions about marriage. So shall we start?
Yes, we can start.
Okay. What kind of questions do couple ask to each other before they get married?
I think the couples ask each other about not so important things. That's what I think. They're talking about short-term events, maybe about holidays, maybe about weekend, or maybe what to buy a car or something else, let's say consumer goods or something like this. But not so many talking about, let's say, long-term future events.
Okay. What kind of questions do couple ask each other after they get married?
After they get married, I think, let's say in the first time it's more or less the same, but there comes a time when they are starting, I think so, from my experience, when they are starting, let's say, to think about future, to think about kids, to talk about where to live the next 20 years, to build a house or something like this. So I think more, let's say, more long-term events than the short-term events.
Okay. I think it's a good idea. Do you think that signing a prenuptial agreement could warrant a lifelong marriage? Yes, no, and why?
No, I don't think so, because you cannot contract if you are going to stay happy the whole time. You cannot contract if your relationship would always be the same with the person that you are going to marry. You can contract anything else, but not the marriage, not the love or something like this.
If you had to write one rule for a prenuptial contract, which one would be the most important to be included for you?
I think the most important would be maybe if it comes to divorce, how to divide the goods. How to divide the goods, maybe to regulate something with the kids as well, if there are any, or if somebody is dying as well, how to contract. Or how to regulate heritage, let's say,
Okay.
heritage beside the actual law.
Perfect. What are the most important aspects that contribute to have lifelong marriage? Okay.
Yes, it is always about to respect the other person, to have an appreciation to other person, and let's say to respect the needs and wishes of each other, and I think that's it.
What is the best thing to do when the couple is facing a problem?
Yes, it's like the question before. It's important to talk about this, and let's say in first step to talk about this and to respect the wishes of the person, of each other. Yes.
What is the most important reason to marry your partner?
The most important reason is indeed is the love. You have to love your person, yet you have to have a good relationship to this person, and you have to know that you want to, let's say, to live the rest of your life with this person.
And what is the least important reason to marry your partner?
I think there is no least important. They are always, let's say, important, but not really least important. Least ones.
Thank you so much for your help.
You're welcome.